Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we're heading back to Great Britain. We missed out on a British round last season and we are back again, this time at the Rockingham Motor Speedway, last used for motor racing back in 2018, and today we are reviving it for the Grand Prix World Series. As ever, we have two leagues to bring you today, so let's start off by reminding ourselves of the championship standings for League 2 to begin with. And heading into today, Marcus Ericsson leads the championship on 59 points. The Season 3 Drivers' Champion back at the head of the table again with a 10-point advantage over Mitch Evans in the Ducati. Yefei third in the Lancia on 38 points, one ahead of Earl Bamber in the Jaguar. Julian Anlauer in the top 5 on 34 points ahead of Shane van Gisbergen on 32. Joseph Newgarden 7th on 30 points ahead of Jamie Chadwick on 28. Nick Tandy 9th on 27, and Kamui Kobayashi last time out at Indianapolis, his first race back in the Grand Prix World Series, and he took a podium at the first time of asking for 40 Corsa. As far as the team standings go, Lola leads the way on 87 points, 6 ahead of Ducati, while Jaguar rounds out the top 3 on 67 points, 20 behind Lola at the moment, but that could all change very quickly. Lancia 4th on 49 ahead of Zakspeed on 38, Cooper Kiro on 36, 40 Corsi on 19, Ford and a Mazda on 10 each, and Toyota rounds out the top 10 on 5 points. At the bottom of the pack, Chip Ganassi also on 5 points ahead of Pacific on 4, and Iron Dames picked up their first point of the season last time out in Indianapolis, but only that 1 point to the team's name so far. Before we take you through the qualifying results and get down to trackside, we have some parish notes to bring you in the form of driver changes, 3 of them for today's League 2 race. The first of those coming at the Pacific team. Pietro Fittipaldi has replaced Jolyon Palmer for this race. Palmer took Shane van Gisbergen out of the race at Indianapolis and as such picked up a race ban for today in Rockingham. So Jolyon Palmer missing out on his home Grand Prix today. Over at Iron Dames, Miki Koyama also picked up a disqualification, having taken Hayley Deegan out in Indianapolis, and she will be replaced by the Iron Dames reserve driver Dorian Pan, who makes her debut in the Grand Prix World Series today. And over at Chip Ganassi, we have a return to the grid for Colton Herter, who has been drafted in to replace Jordan Taylor at Phil Kinch's team. Jordan Taylor not really underperforming, but Phil Kinch, the team manager there, fancying a change of driver lineup, and he has brought Colton Herter in to replace Taylor in that seat. So with the driver changes out of the way, let's take you through the grid. And in qualifying, it was absolute domination for the Lola team. Jamie Chadwick and Marcus Ericsson on the front row, with Roman De Angelis over 0.3 of a second behind Jamie Chadwick's pole time and lines up thirds today. There's a Canadian. Joseph Newgarden finished on the podium last time out at his home Grand Prix of Indianapolis, and today he lines up 4th on the grid, just ahead of Shane van Gisbergen in qualifying, only 1,000th between those two. Nick Tandy 6th in the Cooper Kiro for his home race today. Rotoma Miata 7th in the Mazda ahead of Earl Bamber, Julian Anlauer and Yefei rounding out to the top 10. Nick De Vries 11th in the Toyota alongside Kyle Kirkwood in 12th. Sergio Setecamera, the Brazilian, lines up 13th alongside Colton Herter, who qualifies 14th for his return to the grid today. Paul Aron 15th in the Zakspeed alongside Louis Delatraz. Pietro Fittipaldi replacing Jolyon Palmer today. He qualifies in 17th alongside Zay Maloney, with Kamui Kobayashi and Sho Suboi rounding out the top 20. And then at the back, Jessica Hawkins, Callum Ilott, Felipe Drugovich, Dorian Pan for her debut today will start 24th ahead of Zhou Guanyu. And Mitch Evans starting at the back of the grid, having picked up a grid drop last time out in Indianapolis. So Lola dominating qualifying for today's Rockingham Grand Prix. Can they convert that into another victory this season and strengthen their hold on the lead of the team standings? There's only one way to find out. So let's hand over to Tom Cairns, ready and waiting to go in the commentary box. So Tom, how about we get this one started?
Jamie Chadwick back on pole, ahead of her teammate Marcus Ericsson, race winner last time out at Indianapolis. Can they come away with another victory here in Rockingham? The 5 lights are coming on now when they go out racing here in the UK. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in League 2 in Rockingham. A brilliant start from Jamie Chadwick, but not so for Marcus Ericsson. Newgarden, the best of the lot, straight into the lead by the time they exit turn number 1. So Newgarden is in front then as they come around the first braking zone of Dean, and you can just see Ericsson's in front of Chadwick now, who's also lost position to Shane van Gisbergen, and there's a tangle. That is Pietro Fittipaldi in the Pacific, out of the race already. The right rear has come off, and a huge concertina collision involving him and one of the Zach Speeds. That must be, I believe, Paul Aron, who he's tangled with there. I'm sure he ran into someone else. It was one of the Chip Ganassis that he ran into. Someone else ran into the rear of Fittipaldi before Fittipaldi collected Paul Aron at turn number 2 of Dean. We have our first retirement of the race. The Brazilian is out. And Fittipaldi's cameo appearance for Pacific has lasted only 2 corners. The man who's in place of the suspended Julian Palmer hasn't got that far. Newgarden in front then, from 4th on the grid into the lead. No further action is taken on the concertina collision at turn 2. Marcus Ericsson is 2nd and Shane van Gisbergen in 3rd place. He's in need of a good result today. Jamie Chadwick likewise in 4th. Remy DeAngelis is 5th. Nick Tandy, Matteo Miata, Earl Bamber in 8th in the 2nd Jaguar. Yiafi is 9th in the Lancia. And out the top 10 is Sergio Sette Camera in the Cooper Kiro. See the top 2, Ericsson closing back in a little on the American. Those 2 dueling it out for the win at Indianapolis. Going to come back once again. We've seen one of the Mazdas making a move up the inside. That might have been Rito Miata just fending off Earl Bamber at Dean. And now we are seeing an overtake one of the Fords getting through. Same only through on Colton Herter, who is back in the Grand Prix World Series. He missed the start of the season. He's been drafted in last minute by Phil Kinch to replace the dropped Jordan Taylor. The field coming round to complete the 2nd sector of the course. There we see sets the camera thinking about it on Yi. Way through just yet, but they are coming around what is known as turn 4. The reason why they call that is because it's an oval. It's Rockingham. Once a racetrack, no longer is these days. The facility was purchased by the Constellation Automotive in 2021. Bamber through on Miata for 7th place. I think Rockingham Speedway is essentially an industrial estate, which is a big shame. Apparently the venue entered administration in 2017 before hosting its final race in November 2018. Former home of British touring cars, the Rockingham 500, British GT, BRDC, British F3, British Superbikes, well. That 3 nearly done. Ericsson has the fastest up of the race, but can Newgarden respond to that? He can. And is now the man occupying the point for the fastest lap. Jamie Chadwick, who started on pole, already has the championship point for that. Got in for her 2nd Grand Prix World Series win. And we see a problem for one of the Lolas. And Marcus Ericsson, race winner last time at Indianapolis, is going to be pulling off on lap number 4. And Earl Bamber's gone off the racetrack in avoidance. Now this could be a talking to between the 2 team managers and Earl Bamber. Well, I would say that was inflicted by Bamber by just misjudging where Ericsson was. We'll get an onboard view of Bamber. There is Ericsson. To be fair, Ericsson was kind of on the apex really, and Bamber wasn't sure what to do at that point. Bamber gets back on circuit, beats Reach on into the path of Sho Suboi. That was dangerous, and that'll be a penalty coming in the way of the Jaguar driver. Yeah, that was not Suboi's fault. That was Bamber rejoining dangerously, and That will be a time penalty of at least 10 seconds for Earl Bamber. Ericsson retires from the race, and Earl Bamber has picked up a 10-second time penalty for the unsafe rejoin. Ericsson retires, goes no further. Championship leader out of the race. He came into this one 10 points ahead over Mitch Evans. So at the back of the grid today, Newgarden posts a new fastest up of the race. Right on board with Shane Gisberger, who's up to second now. Julian Anlauer has come into the pits with a problem for Zach Speed. Evans, who started from the back of the grid following his collision with Ritomo Miata last time out at Indianapolis. He's already up to 13th. An incredible start to his race. And there we see Ritomo Miata off the circuit. We'll get a replay to find out what happened to Ritomo Miata, who was running in 6th place. Did he have a problem that forced him off, or did he touch the grass? Oh, he locked up. Locked up. The right or the left front came off, and he is out. There's another non-finish for Ritomo Miata. He cannot catch a break in the Grand Prix World Series. We saw a lot of that when he was racing for Dome. He has yet to score a point this season so far. That's 4 non-finishes in a row for the Japanese driver. 3 drivers retiring from the race so far. Ritomo Miata, Marcus Ericsson and Pietro Fittipaldi. And Julian Anlauer, who's only just come out of the pits, well, it looks like his race is pretty much done, to be honest with you. He's somehow able to get back on the circuit. Earl Bamber had to come in for repairs as well. Julian Anlauer, who has scored points in every single Grand Prix World Series outing so far since his debut in Aruba at the beginning of this season. Well, he's going to do very well to get back into the points, considering that both he and Paul Aron, both of the Zach Speed drivers, outside the points. It's a long time since Zach Speed didn't score in the Grand Prix World Series. 17 races and counting. Will that come to an end today? Miri Kobayashi, the Grand Prix World Series' most experienced driver. 9th position for the 40 squad, headed up by Dave Goddard. And Anlauer is into the pits for repairs. And he'll be down a lap by the time he rejoins. Victor Fries, who picks up a brilliant 8th place finish last time out in Indianapolis for Toyota. And to add to his score here, it's Rockingham's first race posted in the Grand Prix World Series. Victor Fries is under attack from Mitch Evans, who's continuing to really make a name of himself here. A name for himself, I should say. There's Jess Hawkins through on Sho Suboi at turn 2. Nicely done there from the Brit. Van Gisbergen in second. Ahead of Roman DeAndres, who's in front of Jamie Chadwick now. It's not getting a better for Lola right now. This is lap 7 of 59. Also, we won't be expecting pit stops until around about lap 17 or 18. One way to go yet in this. Board. Roman DeAndres heading through Dean, and this is the right-hander of Yentwood. Got away from that. This is Kyle Kirkwood, who is one of those who have yet to score a point. Another one of those. Back with Newgarden, looking for his first Grand Prix World Series win of the season. is well down the order. In 22nd place, I believe. He's well out of the top 15, we know that. And Gisbergen is already 4 seconds behind. Doing his best to keep up, but the Jaguar is just too quick at this point. We see Bamber touching the grass, he's wrecked his front wing. That'll be him off into the pits at the end of this lap. It gets even worse for Bamber. Not good news for team manager Chris Cavani. We've seen better days from the Kiwi. And now he's going to be down a lap by the time he rejoins. That'll be his second stop. And the race leader is already on lap 9. Don't know how much time you need for a pit stop round Rockingham. I'd like to think it's one of the shorter ones, but could well be wrong on that. Mitch Evans in 12th place, running a little too deep. Bamber gets his Jaguar back to the pits. It's going to be a long race from here for him. This is a chance for Ducati to take advantage here. They didn't really maximise the result at Indianapolis compared to what the car was capable of doing. Gisbergen retired with mechanical issues in the early stages. Mitch Evans crossed the line in 3rd place but dropped to 6th after he picked up a 30-second time penalty for a collision with Ritomo Miata. Now we see Bamber, who's out in front of Jamie Chadwick. To go through, and then behind Bamber will be Julian Anlow, who of which he is racing with. Tianjas in 3rd place right now. Canadian so far in his Grand Prix World Series career. Colton Herter out of the penultimate turn. Hamilton just picked up his first points, or his first points finish. In 5th place, he didn't get the fastest lap in round 2 in Campo Grande. Further up from, we see Kobayashi through on Zane Maloney for 8th. Zane Maloney is back after a 1-race ban for his part in the incident with Miki Koyama in La Plata. Lock it up behind Kobayashi as they come towards the hairpin of Tarzan. .1 seconds is the margin between Newgarden and Van Gisbergen. See Bamber trying to unlap himself from Nick Tandy, and he's able to do so. Jamie Chadwick now has the fastest lap. Bearing in mind, Bamber is on fresher tyres compared to Tandy, so you can understand why he's got that overtake done. And if he goes off the circuit, hits the barrier, and that is going to cost him time. Luckily, the car didn't take any form of damage. The Chinese drivers will have his work cut out from here on in. Feet hitting the wall. He's just waiting for a gap in the traffic before he can rejoin, but there isn't really one until towards the rear end of the field. There's Dragovic, there goes Aaron, and Yiafi is actually out. He sustained too much damage from that. That's a bit of a shock that for Lancia. I was going to say about Jaguar, it's not Chris Cavani that's in charge of it. That's Mike Smith who's in charge. Chris Cavani's in charge of the Lancia squad. The reason why I was thinking it was the Jaguar is because he had Earl Bamber and Joseph Newgarden at Latenhouse last season. But it's Mike Smith who's in charge of Jaguar, Chris Cavani in charge of Lancia. 4 drivers out then. Yi, Miata, Ericsson and Fittipaldi. Jung and Lower in 22nd and last place behind Earl Bamber. We see the sole surviving Lancia of Roman De Angelis going after Shane van Gisbergen. Holding De Angelis and Chadwick off. Chadwick closing in again on De Angelis. And we look back to Nick De Vries is in 9th position behind Zane Maloney. Kobayashi in P7 going after Sergio Sette Camera. Don't know for certain who's doing the 1 stop and who's doing the 2. It's too early to say yet, but I can imagine that Newgarden is doing the 2 stop. Given how far he's been able to pull away from Shane van Gisbergen. Vries and Herter going through turn 1. Mitch Evans is up to 11th place now from the back of the grid. And Sette Camera went a little too deep into Chapman Curve. At least he stays in the event. Heroes in the top 6. That will please team manager Ed Hunter. Seconds is the margin between Newgarden and van Gisbergen now before they complete lap number 14. Van Gisbergen is now 6.1 back. Hilot locking up in front of Louis Delatraz. Raced for Dave Goddard's team in Season 3. Shone for the team despite the car's problems. It was a rather slow car compared to the rest when they were in League 1 before they went down. And we see Nick Tandy behind Earl Bamber, albeit Bamber is a lap down, and Bamber's going after Chadwick to try and unlap himself. There is the battle for second place between Gisbergen, De Angelis and Chadwick. And Drogovic off the circuit in the Ford, and his race is done. The error there from the Brazilian. This is at the right-hander of Brook, where this was run too deep. The left rear has come off, and the Ford drivers' race is over for today. That's another retirement. We're on lap 16 out of 59. Newgarden making it look so easy. Wait until the pit stops arrive. Van Gisbergen, De Angelis and Chadwick. Through Brook. Chadwick is within range to try and have a go on De Angelis, I would have thought. Chadwick can just stay in the slipstream until they come out of the first turn. Then she might be able to get a run into Dean. We'll run down on each of the team setups. Pacific, they've gone for a neutral setup, as have Sax Speed. 40 have gone for mid-top speed. Lola, maximum downforce. Could well explain Chadwick's pace on the straights. Lancia and Ducati have gone for a neutral setup. Deltra's going through on islet for P12 now. Jaguar have gone for mid-top speed. Chip Ganassi and Toyota have gone for mid-downforce. Iron Dane's maximum top speed. Ford mid-top speed. Cooper Kiro mid-downforce. Mazda mid-downforce. Just seen DeAndre's pulled away from Chadwick. Might see a change for second place in a moment here. You see DeAndre's going into the pits, and Delachas has spun in the 40. This is over at Brook, where he had gone off the circuit. Same place as where Dragovic had gone into the barrier at. Now, we did see Van Gisbergen pull to the side. Did he actually go into the pits, Van Gisbergen? I don't think... No, he's soaked! I thought he'd gone into the pit lane, Van Gisbergen, but no, it's a mechanical issue that's forced him to retire. Now, he's got to be careful. He does not lead that car on the apex, which he's doing so. That could cause problems for others as they all dodge their way through. And I think the stewards will have to take some form of action on that, because that was avoidable, really, for Shane Van Gisbergen. That's another retirement for him. He's had a really wretched start to the campaign. Well, I say he's had a wretched start. That's 2 non-finishes in a row for him. But that looks avoidable, really. And that's allowed DeAngelis and Chadwick through into second and third places. And the 2 Cooper Kiros are now in the top 5. Pit stop window hasn't started yet. We're on lap 19, but I imagine we won't be too far away from that now. Six drivers out then. Shane Van Gisbergen, Felipe Drogovic, Yifi. Also lost Tomo Miata, Marcus Ericsson and Pietro Fittipaldi. We'll see DeAngelis and Chadwick nose to tail. And they're both coming in at the same time. Are the drivers from second and third, as is Joseph Newgarden, race leader. So we should see one of the Cooper Kiros go into the lead. Will it be Nick Tandy or will it be Sergio Sette Camera? Well, Nick Tandy's in, so Sergio Sette Camera's got to take the lead of the race, which he is doing so now. And I think it's the first time I've ever seen Sergio Sette Camera lead a Grand Prix World Series race. Also coming out of the pits, Newgarden will be the first of those. St. Maloney has got in front of the American. Dorian Pan, her Grand Prix World Series debut, has come in. Dorian Pan started 24th place for Iron Dames, Jake Simpson's team. There we see Chadwick. A little too deep, and she did very well to stay on the circuit there. The bad news for Chadwick, with all the pit stops going on, she's lost a position to Neat Tandy. Neat Tandy's now in front of the Lola. Kobayashi in second place for 40. And Ilott is off the circuit in the Pacific, and he does very well not to collect Jess Hawkins on his way back onto the track. Rejoins ahead of the Iron Dames, although Hawkins is alongside, and Hawkins is going to go through here at the last turn. It's not really been a good race so far for Kevin McMullen's team. DeAndres and Kirkwood are learning back. There goes DeAndres on Kirkwood. Not hanging around by any means. He's on the tail of Maloney already. Do we see any more pit stops on this lap? DeAndres is continuing to make his way through the field past Ilott. Shows you by looking up just behind. And no harm done. Kobayashi's in the pits now for 40. That will allow Maloney to go through. We've also got Kyle Kirkwood making his way into pit road, likewise for Nick de Vries. Sandy heading through. He's posted a new fast stop of the race on his fresh rubber. So the top 10 right now are Sete Cameron, Maloney, Newgarden. Evans is up to 4th but yet to stop. Jess Hawkins is 5th. DeAndres safe, Colin Ilott 7th, that's Nick Sandy, Show Boy and Paul Aaron. And Maloney has got Newgarden all over the back of him. Should see a change for position in a moment. Maloney stays out there, so I wonder whether he's inclined to be doing the one stop. Newgarden will make his way very, very soon, but Maloney's able to resist. Newgarden's going to really fight for this. Behind Newgarden is Mitch Evans, who could take the lead of the championship. Ericsson is already out. Yiffy is not scoring. Bamba is unlikely to be scoring. Trillian and Mower, well, it's unlikely he'll be scoring as well. But this man, Sergio Sete Camera, is doing a super job in the Keeper Kiro. This has probably been his best race in his Grand Prix World Series career. Kobayashi running wide. I think that might have been over at Chapman Curve. Maloney, does he get through this time into turn 1? No, he does not. Maloney not making it easy for Newgarden here. DeAndres is already up to 5th place on track. It's in a net second. Chadwick goes through on Paul Aaron for 10th place. Evans running in 4th. Wrecks his front wing on the grass. And that's a costly one for Sam Hall. A really poor error by Mitch Evans. And he'll be in the pits sooner than planned. Newgarden still struggling to get by. Same Maloney. Mitch Evans will be in the pits at the end of the start, and this will be to get his sole stop out of the way, I suppose. But he's slowing. He's already slowing his Mitch Evans. And it's race over for Ducati. You just see Cooper Kiro going through on Jess Hawkins. What's all that was going on. But Evans is out of the race. No points for Ducati here in Rockingham. And Kyle Kirkwood we've also lost on the circuit in the Chip Ganassi. Another retirement for him as well. And it looks like he's spun into the gravel trap. So that's 2 more gone from this race. And I have to say, Sergio Sette Camera is absolutely flying, and he'll be happy that Maloney is holding up Newgarden here. Can Newgarden find his way through on the Ford? Not this time around. Jaguar against Ford, and Kobayashi is off the circuit in the 40 on the grass, wrecks his front wing, and thankfully he does not take out another driver, but 40's race goes from bad to worse. Went too deep. Did the Japanese? He did well not to take out the Toyota. That was Nick de Vries that he spun right in front of. De Vries doing well to just drift his way through. Kobayashi, well, it's going to be a long race for him now. Does he get back on the circuit, or is that curtains for him? Just seeing his teammate Louis Delatraz go through. He had to come in earlier for a new nose section, or he had that spin. She does get back on the track now. Here's the Cooper Kiro, Sergio Sette Camera leading the League 2 Rockingham Grand Prix, but he has yet to make his sole stop. Julian Anmower is trying to get out of the way of leaders who are coming through. And that's Jamie Chadwick to his right. Allowed Paul Aron to go through. Kobayashi pits just in front of Sergio Sette Camera, and Maloney has finally cracked under pressure, and Newgarden has found his way through at last, and that was down to a lock-up at the penultimate turn of the circuit. It was over at Gretton Corner where Maloney locked up and went wide, and he rejoins in front of Earl Bamber, who is a lap down. It's the kind of invitation that Newgarden was after all this time. Kobayashi heads for the pits for a new nose section. Makes that will promote Earl Bamber up a position. Is yet to stop, as is Maloney. Hawkins is yet to stop. Ilott is yet to stop. Z-Boy, I think, is yet to stop. Pretty sure that Paul Aron is yet to stop. Sette Camera's lead is 9.5 seconds. Maloney almost been unlapped by Earl Bamber. Bamber just needs to be careful here. He doesn't run into anyone. The last thing I want is a disqualification and a race ban. Over the line comes Sergio Sette Camera, now on lap 28, approaching half race distance. Similarly comes into the pits for Ford. Rejoin behind Nick de Vries in 12th. Although Callum Ilott is in, so it should be P11. No one else is coming in on that same lap. And there goes Hawkins, spinning around. The Mazda and the Lola dodging their way through. Terrible shame there for the Iron Dames driver, because she was running really well up until this point in 5th place. But it's that mistake at turn number 3. for the School Straight. Not the School Straight, sorry, that was over at Yentwood. She's dipped a wheel in the gravel. She's hit the barrier there as Hawkins. I think she's trying to find a gap to rejoin. He's found his way through. There goes Delatrez. There goes Ilott. Hawkins rejoins, although she's making an absolute hash of it. Delatrez in P3. 4 seconds behind Newgarden. Subway under attack from Chadwick. Heading into turn 1. Chadwick not able to get past this time around. Coming into the race, Marcus Ericsson had a 10-point lead over Mitch Evans. Yigifi, we know he's not going to be scoring. Obamba is unlikely to be scoring. Amara unlikely to be scoring. And Van Gisbergen, we know, isn't going to be scoring. And Bamba's off the circuit again in the Jaguar. Back on without any more dramas here. Hawkins gets into the pit lane. Don't think she suffered any damage. This has cost Bamba dear here. Activity at Cooper Key Road shows Setsei Camera is in from the lead. Newgarden will go back at the head of the pack. We see Sergio Setsei Camera on the podium here today. Shows Zuboy in for Mazda. Setsei Camera rejoins in 5th behind Jamie Chadwick. He'll be on fresher tyres as well. It won't be too long before we start seeing the leaders coming back in for their second stops. Setsei Camera can go to the end. See Colton Hurst to the next to wreck his front wing in the Chip Ganassi, and he spins right in front of the Toyota of Nick de Vries. He totally inflicted that, did the American. Yeah, wrecks the front wing on the grass and did very well not to completely wipe out the Toyota. Will head through. Bamba's right behind. Remember, Bamba is a lap down. No further action is going to be taken, so Hertz is a lucky man to get away with that. There goes Kobayashi. This is on... It's not on Setsei Camera, is it? There has to be... Oh, it might well be Setsei Camera. I think Setsei Camera's struggling here. Oh, he just saw the Iron Danes, Koyan Pan, and Hawkins has gone off again, has hit the wall. What is going on at Iron Dames right now? This is Dean that she's going through. This is Yentwood. She spun around last time. In the pits for a new nose section. I want to go back to see Sergio Setsei Camera because he got unlapped by Kamui Kobayashi. He needs to stay with him. Goes back ahead of Kamui Kobayashi at long last. This is hurting Setsei Camera's race, absolutely sure. Tandy, 3rd position. Let's see if anything happens up front involving either Newgarden or De Angelis. This is Ed Hunter's 53rd Grand Prix World Series race as a team manager who's in charge of the Real squad from seasons 2 to 4 before they have rebranded to Cooper Kiro. Goes Bamba on lapping himself. I think that must be Nick de Vries. He's just on that. Bamber's chances of points are gone, let's be honest. Hertz's pit stop had seen him rejoin in 13th. Bamber again. And Dorian Pan, after making her only stop of the race, is now in P7 on debut. This is a brilliant effort from the F1 Academy vice champion. So Maloney behind in 8th. Joe New in 9th, aiming for his first points of the season. There goes Nick de Vries. Well, so there goes Old Bamber for a moment. T. Angelis is doing his best to keep his car on the circuit before he gets to Tarzan. Looks like Graceland's were just slightly missed the apex there. Newgarden was to pit now. He would rejoin in 5th position behind Sete Camera. Another lap done on lap 34. Joseph Newgarden, who has already tasted victory in the Grand Prix World Series last season for Leighton House. Twice. First one being at Indianapolis in season 4. One again later in the campaign. Which was... I can't remember which race it was. Let's say that Newgarden had won up. Show Suboy running wide. He's hit the wall on the first posting a new fast up of the race. Dijon Burgoyne was where Newgarden had won last season. For his first one this time around, we'll show Suboy's chances of points have taken a dive here. Allows the sat speed to go through. He's down a position. Tandy in 3rd place. We see Jess Hawkins, who is holding up Jamie Chadwick. And de Vries in 6th place ahead of Bamber, who I think is due to come into the pits at the end of this lap. No, he's actually carried on his Bamber. I thought he was ducking into the pits for a moment, but no, he's carrying on his way. Stuck behind Hawkins, but he's through at last. De Vries must be giving some nerves over to Michael Gillespie. Colton Hertzer, another new fast stop of the race at 1 minute 6.9. The Chip Ganassi pilot on his return to the GPWS. Marcus Ericsson will stay in the lead of the Drivers' Championship as it stands. He will remain 10 points clear. Although if Joseph Newgarden was to win this race, he'll close to within 4 points of him. So it'll be 4 points between Ericsson and Newgarden, provided Newgarden can keep his Jaguar on the circuit. Place. Already has a podium position from where he picked up in La Plata, going for his 2nd in 3 races. That's it. 2 seconds behind Shosu Boy in the 12th place. So too deep into Dean corner and very well to just go on the black stuff. Race order, Joseph Newgarden, Brian DeAngelis, Nick Tandy in 3rd place, Jamie Chadwick in 4th, Sergio Sete Camera is 5th, followed by Nita Freeze, Dorian Pan in a brilliant 7th position. Remember, she started 24th on the grid to get up to where she is now, and we are not expecting her to pit one more time. Same Melanie 8th, Sho Guan Yu in 9th, and Louis Delatros running out the top 10. Kumiko Bayashi's got through on Sergio Sete Camera. I think Sete Camera has picked up a problem, and that's a and that's why the front wing has gone on the Cooper Kiro. A body blow to Sergio Sete Camera and for Cooper Kiro. It was looking too good for them, and he will fall out of the points. Won't need to add any fuel at least. Sete Camera comes in. His chances of a podium are gone. DeAngelis, he's stuck behind the Pacific of Kalamailot, the Lead 2 Drivers' Champion. It's very, very unlikely he'll be retaining it this time around for Kevin McMullen's team. Winning the Lead 2 Drivers' Championship for Carlin in Season 4, with Poe Brown in charge. There is Nick Tandy. 3rd place going after DeAngelis. Sho Guan Yu. Getting through on Alabama to lap. And there we see DeAngelis slowing in the Lancia. That's the second of Chris Cavani's cars out of the race. Another double non-finish for the team. From 2nd place, he's gone. Gearbox failure for the Canadian. And up to 2nd place now goes Nick Tandy. Jamie Chadwick up to 3rd now for Lola. Nick DeFries 4th. Dorian Pan up to 5th for Iron Dames. Does that give the indication to Jake Sanson that she's worth being put in the car for the foreseeable future alongside Jess Hawkins? Sete Camera on Shosu Boy for 10th place. He's back into the points now, is Sete Camera. I hope he doesn't make any more mistakes from here on in. And race leader Joseph Newgarden is in. Does Nick Tandy stay out there, or does he come in as well? No, he's in. Jamie Chadwick takes the lead of the race for the time being. Newgarden rejoins in second place. What about Nick Tandy? He should have a big enough margin over Nick De Vries. Well, De Vries is into the pits anyway. Tandy out in third. And I'll take my word back about Dorian Pan because she has come into the pits. But she should stay inside the points. Considering that De Vries and Delatraz are also in. Colton is in as well. Pan rejoins in 10th place. Right on board. Nick Tandy, 3rd place on circuit. Chadwick in a lap after Newgarden and Tandy. She's going for her second Grand Prix World Series win. She's looking good for a podium here. It's important that she gets out in front of Say Maloney actually. Newgarden goes through. Nick Tandy will most certainly go through. And Chadwick will rejoin in P3. So Maloney good for a 4th place finish for Ford, which will be their best result of the season so far. In the team's championship, with the way things are going, Chadwick has the point for pole position. Although, just speaking about Chadwick, she has gone off the circuit and she's wrecked her front wing. First lap out of the pits and she's thrown it away. It gets worse for Lola and for team manager Marcus Johansson. Right in front of Say Maloney. Now she needs to be careful here now. She doesn't take out any of the other drivers. And yeah, that's just dangerous from Chadwick, I'm afraid. Doesn't look like she's going to be scoring here either now. And she's out of the race, is Chadwick. Too much damage. Newgarden with the knee fast up of the race, a 1 minute 6.9. Both of the Lolas are out now. Back to the drawing board for Marcus Johansson. And through all the stops, Sergio Camera has found himself back into P5 on the tail of Paul Aron. So it's not all lost for the Brazilian. He could still get a podium out of this, remarkably. Maloney in 3rd place for Ford, on course for a podium. And we'll see Earl Bamber going through. That has to be Kamiri Kobayashi. He's getting an overtake done. No, I think it might be Louis Delatraz on that. We're back with the fight for 4th position. Aron and Sete Camera. So Maloney in P3. 19 seconds off the lead. And we'll see the battle between Aron and Sete Camera. There's also a fight for 6th position between Sho Suboy and Nick De Vries. Dorian Pan up to 8th. What a race she has had. We see Delatraz go off again in the 40. Now, does he keep the car intact? He does. And does he rejoin safely in front of Ilott? He does. Keeps hold of the point. That was not what he needed, really. Nick Tandy's driven a splendid race as well in the Cooper Kiro. 6th on the grid to get up into 2nd place. And then we see Saturday Camera behind Aaron. Avoiding contact. Looks like DeFries is now in front of Suboy for 6th position. Laps remaining. Newgarden looking good for his 3rd Grand Prix World Series win. It'll be his 1st of the campaign. It'll be 5 different winners in League 2 from 5 in Season 5. Newgarden has the point for the fastest lap. It's to remain as it is. Joseph Newgarden will be 3 points behind Marcus Ericsson, heading into the next round of the championship at Dijon-Bourgogne. Newgarden putting a lap on Jess Hawkins, in 13th position, and Maloney running wide. Gets overtaken by one of the Sax Speeds, but luckily for him, it's Julian Anlauer who is a lap down. As far as the team's championship is concerned, Lola came into this one 6 points clear over Ducati. They did get the point for pole position, but that's all they'll be getting today. Ducati won't be scoring. Jaguar looking good for the win and for fastest lap. They will move in front of both Ducati and Lola, and they'll be into the lead of the team's championship. Lancia won't be scoring. Sax Speed, with Aaron up there in 5th place, he's just been overtaken by Saturday Camera now. Remain in 5th position. Having said that, with Cooper Kiro getting a good haul of points with Tandy in 2nd and Saturday Camera in 4th. 30 points for them, moving them in front of Sax Speed and Lancia into 4th. Now we see Bamber going through on the Toyota to unlap. It's been a lonely race for the Kiwi. Sets the camera, locking up again here. Does he keep it off the grass this time? He does. He's got 12 laps to catch up. Oh, and someone's parked up on the side. And it's Kobayashi who is out. He was running at the back anyway. It looks like a puncture on the front left. And Kobayashi is the next to go from this. So we've only got 15 left in the race. Earl Bamber in 15th and last place, behind Julian Anlauer. Can't quite see what the gap is, but he is a long way off him, I can tell you that. And then we just see Shogun Yu. He's been battling with that Jaguar annoyingly. Nick Tandy's 8 seconds off the lead. The gap between Maloney and Sese Camera has come down to 6 seconds. Can Sese Camera get his first podium in this series? Dorian Pan, meanwhile, is looming in on Show Subai for P7. Another battle further up ahead is between Paul Aron and Nick DeFries, and Shogun Yu's front wing has been damaged on the grass, and his 9th place and his 2 championship points are down the drain. Yeah, it's just costly there for the Chinese driver, and that will displease team manager Michael Gillespie. That will allow Delatress into 9th, and Callum Milot will be into the points in 10th for Pacific. See Maloney in third place. For the Ford team, headed up by Lewis Bassindale. And Zhou Guanyu comes into the pits to get his front wing replaced. And De Vries is on fire for Toyota. A terrible, terrible shame for Michael Gillespie. Running towards the top end for so long, but it's all over for the Toyota pilot. Just as Zhou Guanyu in the other Toyota came in for repairs whilst being in the points, De Vries' car goes no further. Pilot goes up to 9th now behind Delatraz, and Colton Hertzer into the points for Chip Ganassi on his return. And Zhou Guanyu, being on the fresher tyres now, might be able to go for a faster lap if he's feeling it. Race order is as follows. Newgarden leading, Tandy second, is Maloney in third place, Sergio Sete-Camara in fourth, Paul Aron looking good for 10 championship points for Sack Speed. He's already finished with the points this season in Aruba, but this will be his best result so far in fifth. See Nick Tandy behind Zhou Guanyu to lap. Boy in 6th place, they had Dorian Pan, Delatraz 8th, Calamile at 9th, and Colton Hertzer in 10th. Just just outside the points in the other I Am Dames in P11. Zhou Guanyu, Julian Adlauer, and Earl Bamber, the last of those still running. And there we see Zhou Guanyu doing his best to stay out of the way of Nick Tandy. It's not making it easy for him, and Tandy will have lost time in his pursuit to Newgarden. This man's driven a beautiful race. So Maloney on the one stop. 18th on the grid to find himself up into third place. So Show Superboy locking up. Gets the car slowed down. We'll have to watch his mirrors because Dorian Pan is slowly but surely closing him down all the time here. What a race from Dorian Pan, it has to be said. 24th on the grid up to P7. 17 places up from her grid spot. One of the drivers of the day, most certainly. He's got Sete-Camara closing him down. Sete-Camara will be on the fresher tyres. Looking at the gap in sector 1, it's come down to 2.3 seconds. So meanwhile, he started his 53rd lap. Hawkins, Zhou, Adlauer and Bamber. The next driver to lap will be Colton Hertzer, who's going after Calamilot. Gap between Maloney and Sete-Camara, 1.8 seconds. Gap over the line. It's just under 1.8. Spoke about the setups earlier. Ford are running a mid-top speed downforce setup. Let's keep the Kiro gone for a mid-downforce setup. And Sete-Camara's off the circuit and he spins! He hit the wall very hard. And he's throwing it all away again. Oh, it's down at Yentwood again, isn't it? Aaron goes through. Zuboy and Pam will go through. think there's a back marker which will go by first. That's Old Bamba. Just needs to be careful he doesn't wreck the front wing as he rejoins. Rejoins just in front of Delatraz. He will be fancying his chances here. And that's a body blow to Kiro. Tandy, meanwhile, has got Shogun Yu, who is on the fresher tyres, trying to get back on. Well, he's trying to get back on the lead lap. Won't catch Newgarden. And Newgarden locking up. He's off the circuit. It's the Jaguar pilot. And that could allow Nick Tandy into the lead. On lap 54, Newgarden has locked up, has gone off the circuit at Tarson Corner. And we could well see a new race leader. We are! Nick Tandy leads the lead to Rockingham Grand Prix. Across the arrow from Joseph Newgarden, who's dominated the whole race up until that moment. Newgarden rejoins in second. Are we going to see a new team stand on the top step of the Grand Prix World Series podium today in Kiro in their 5th Grand Prix World Series outing? Is Ed Hunter going to celebrate a Grand Prix World Series win as a team manager for the first time? Heartbreak for Jaguar. Colton Herter fighting it out with Callum Ilott for 9th place. Nick Tandy just needs to be careful here because Shogun Yu has been loitering around him all this time. Closing back in, and Earl Bummer in the pits, and it just sums up his day. I think he's picked up another problem as the Kiwi. He was down in last place anyway, so he's got a chance maybe of going for a fastest lap. He's feeling it. Zane Maloney in 3rd place on course for his first Grand Prix World Series podium. And what a drive it's been from him. 18th up to 3rd. Paul Aron, who did very well to keep going after the tangle with Pietro Fittipaldi at the start. He's on course for a brilliant top 4 finish from 15th on the grid. Bamba is now down 2 laps on the leaders. You can see Tandy getting held up by Jess Hawkins. You see Maloney doing his best to keep his car on the circuit. He's not too far in front of Aaron, he's only 5 seconds back. Zuboy and Pan are in the fight of the round. Pan now only 8/10 off the Japanese. Belter and Ilott are still in the fight of the round as well. Newgarden knows that it's not all lost yet. What must Mike Smith be thinking at this moment in time? Hawkins has been lapped now by Tandy, who locks up, and he's off as well! Into the gravel goes Nick Tandy from the lead! And that hands it back to Joseph Newgarden. There will be serious words afterwards, because it looked like Hawkins got in the way of Tandy into Tarzan. Tandy off into the gravel, and Newgarden is back into the lead with over 2 laps remaining. Is he able to get out of the gravel trap? He is. In second place. Mass relief for Mike Smith. Awful luck for Ed Hunter. There is Newgarden. And Earl Bamber, as much as it's been a really, really appalling race for him, has got the point for the fastest lap. With a 1 minute 6.7. You see Eilert and Herter in the fight for 9th place. And we're looking at Tandy again. Newgarden is being held up by Toyota here of Shogun Yu. He's in a fight with Jess Hawkins. Now that could be important because if anything happens in the final laps or so, one of them might just sneak into the points. And Newgarden trying to make his way round Shogun Yu. Just about as he begins the last lap. What a race for Newgarden. That was a big, big scare over at Tarzan. But luckily for him, Tandy made the same mistake a few laps later. Has got back what he feels is rightly his. He just needs to be careful with Shogun Yu behind, who could try and unlap himself. But Newgarden's doing everything right on this final lap here. Just take it easy. Take it easy. It's a long time since he last won in Dijon Burgoyne for Leighton House in Season 4. But Newgarden got off to the best of starts and has converted that into a strong performance, minus that scare at Tarzan, to come away with a victory here. He laps his way past Jess Hawkins. Joseph Newgarden wins the Lead 2 Rockingham Grand Prix. First win of the season for him. What a drive. He closes down the lead to Marcus Ericsson in the Drivers' Championship. Nick Tandy, so close, but yet so far, it's still a second place for him. It's another podium for Cooper Kiro, and it's going to be a first podium for Zane Maloney and for Ford in their 5th Grand Prix World Series race. They get a podium out of this. Paul Aron is 4th for Sat Speed. Another race, another point, another point score for Sat Speed. Dorian Pan got by Sho Subai in the last lap. 5th place for her and for Ian Danes. What a drive from the back of the grid for her on debut. Sho Subai in 6th place. Sergio Sete Camera is 7th out of Louis Delatraz. Callum Eilert will hold off Colton Herter, who bags a point on his return. It's a win for Joseph Newgarden. A lucky one, but they all count. He wins the Lead 2 Rockingham Grand Prix. Nick Tandy is 2nd, ahead of Zane Maloney. First podium for Ford in the Grand Prix World Series. Paul Aron 4th. Dorian Pan, arguably the driver of the day, in 5th. Sho Subai is 6th. Sergio Sete Canberra, a missed opportunity to get a podium, coming out in 7th. Louis Delatraz in 8th. Callum Eilert in 9th. And Colton Herter running out the top 10. Jess Hawkins 11th, followed by Shogun Yu. Julian Anlower in 13th place. And Earl Bamber, a miserable race for him. 2 laps down, but finishing. Nick de Vries retiring with an oil leak whilst running up towards the top end. Kamui Kobayashi out. Jamie Chadwick also spun out. Roman DeAngelis retiring with gearbox trouble, along with Mitch Evans and Kyle Kirkwood. Shane van Gisbergen also lost. Felipe Drogovic crashing out. Yi Yifi retiring Miata. Marcus Ericsson, who we lost in the early stages with gearbox trouble. Pietro Fittipaldi retired at the very beginning at turn 2. Pole position went to Jamie Chadwick, and the fast lap was taken away by Earl Bamber, so at least he gets a championship point out of this. A dramatic conclusion to the race with Newgarden and Tandy both making mistakes, but it's Newgarden who came away with the victory. It is Jaguars' first win of the campaign and their first in the Grand Prix World Series. It was 3 second places before today. It so easily could have been a 4th one, but it's victory this time for Mike Smith. It's in fact his first win as a Grand Prix World Series team manager. Congratulations to him. It hadn't been easy. It was a well-deserved one, it has to be said. But now, with that win for Newgarden, Jaguar are into the lead of the team's championship after today's results. It's time to run down the League 2 drivers and team's championships in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
Well, drama all the way to the end there in their race. Plenty of action, plenty of controversy going on in that race. And at the end of it all, Joseph Newgarden comes home for his first win of the season. And it's a first victory as well for the Jaguar team and for the team manager, Mike Smith. So a huge congratulations there for picking up his first ever Grand Prix World Series victory. There may have been a little bit of luck in the end with Nick Tandy going off, but you can't say that Joseph Newgarden didn't deserve to win this race today. What has this done to the drivers and team standings? So let's take a quick look. Marcus Ericsson still heading the field on 59 points, 4 ahead of Joseph Newgarden, whose victory today puts him up into second. Mitch Evans drops to third after his non-score today, but what a drive he was putting in up until his retirement. So a shame that he had to leave the race in that manner. Nick Tandy fourth on 45 points after his second podium of the season today. Yaya Fei fifth on 38, Earl Bamber also on 38, but Yaya Fei ahead on countback by virtue of his victory earlier on in the season. Julian Anlauer seventh on 34, 2 ahead of Shane van Gisbergen. Jamie Chadwick ninth, and Zane Maloney with his maiden podium in the Grand Prix World Series today goes up to 10th in the standings as a result on 23. Looking at the team standings, Jaguar's victory today moves them to the top of the order. Only 5 ahead of Lola. Is getting very close between the top 3 teams here, with Ducati on 81, only 12 behind Jaguar. It looks like it might well be those 3 teams fighting for the title and fighting for promotion next season, but a lot can still happen. Cooper Kiro, 4th on 60 points, 10 ahead of Zach Speed. Lancia on 49, Ford on 25 ahead of 40 Corsa on 23. Mazda 9th on 18, and Iron Dames with Dorian Pan's brilliant debut performance today up to 10th in the standings on 11 points. Pacific are on 6, as well as Chip Ganassi and Toyota propping up the field on 5 points in 13th. Well, that is League 2 done and dusted for another race. But before we head on over to League 1 and see what action waits for us there, we have just a little something to show you. Don't go anywhere. So something for everyone to look forward to there. A brand new series coming to the Retro Racing Managers League in the form of the Nations Cup. You might well have gathered from the trailer there that drivers will be representing their own countries in this brand new championship. We'll bring you more information on that in due time. But for now, let's get back into the Grand Prix World Series and to remind ourselves of how the drivers and teams stand after last time out in Indianapolis. Scott Dixon leading the way in the Onyx on 60 points, 9 ahead of Scott McLaughlin, who is aiming for the hat-trick today, his 3rd Grand Prix win in a row. Only one driver has done that in the history of the Grand Prix World Series. That is Antonio Felix da Costa. Let's see whether Scott McLaughlin can become only the 2nd driver to score a hat-trick here today. Kevin Magnussen, 3rd in the standings on 49, ahead of Robin Freins on 34. Felix Rosenquist, 5th on 32. Ahead of Christopher Bell on 30, and Tony Felix da Costa, our only hat-trick hero in the Grand Prix World Series, 7th in the standings at the moment on 28, ahead of Alex Palou, Pascal Wehrlein and Jake Dennis, rounding out the top 10 on 13 points. In the teams, HRT leads the way on 81, 4 ahead of Fomital on 77. Onyx leads the Drivers' Championship, 3rd in the teams' standings at the moment, 72 points for Ryan Ferris' team. Arrows 4th on 66, and those top four quite a way clear of the rest of the field at the moment. Ram Racing is 5th on 25 ahead of Andretti on 23, Minardi on 16 with Carlin on 12, BAR and Prost on 9 points each for 9th and 10th, and at the back, currently in the relegation zone, Prema Racing on 8, Simtech also on 8, and Force India propping up the field on 6 points. A lot more potential to be found from those teams, I think, and we will see whether they can get themselves up into the fight in the next few races. We have only one driver change to bring you for today's League One race, and that comes over at Simtech, where Nolan Siegel is sitting out today's race, having been involved in the retirement of Ryo Hirakawa last time out at Indianapolis. So his seat today is being taken by Tina Hausmann, who makes her debut in the Grand Prix World Series today, and we will keep an eye on her progress to see how she gets on and whether she can convince the team manager Liv Simtech to give her a full-time seat for the remainder of the season. So let's take a quick look at how the grid looks before we get down to trackside for lights out. And Felix Rosenqvist takes his 3rd pole position of the season, enjoying some fine qualifying form this season. Not yet translating into all of the results he would have wanted, but he is a race winner so far this season. Kevin Estre lines up alongside the Swede 2nd on the grid. Christopher Bell, he's had some disappointing results recently, but looking to get back on top of things as he lines up 3rd today. Pascal Wehrlein 4th in a Minardi ahead of Robin Freins in the 2nd Arrows. Scott McLaughlin aiming for his 3rd win in a row today. He will start from 6th alongside Ryo Hirakawa, Scott Dixon, Kevin Magnussen, and Raffaele Marcello in the Force India, hoping to score some points from P10 today. Force India wanting to get themselves out of that relegation zone. Mahave Raghunathan 11th in the BAR alongside Stoffel Van Dorn in the Carlin. Antonio Felix da Costa in the Fomital 13th alongside Nicholas Latifi in the BAR. Jean-Eric Vernon in the 2nd Force India lines up 15th ahead of a trio of Brits for their home race today. Louis Foster, Ollie Rowland and Jake Dennis in 16th, 17th and 18th. Linus Lundqvist 19th alongside Pato Ward in 20th. And then Igor Fraga and Alex Palou 21st and 22nd for the Rams ahead of Sebastian Buemi, the reigning champion, not having some great form in qualifying so far this season. Tina Hausmann on her debut out-qualifies Nina Hardeman, and Jose Maria Lopez at the back due to a back of the grid penalty picked up last time out. Well, if the League 2 race is anything to go by, then we are set for another thrilling race here in League 1. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get on over to the commentary box where Tom Cairns has finished his break and he's ready and waiting to get back underway. So Tom, let's get this one going.
Felix Rosenqvist on pole again, but he blundered his effort in Indianapolis and only coming away with an 8th place finish. But can he redeem himself this time and pick up his 2nd Grand Prix World Series win, or his 3rd one in his career? The 5 lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Rockingham. And there we see Kevin Estre on the inside of Rosenqvist into the first turn. Estre into the lead then for Onyx before they get to the Dean hairpin. On the inside comes Pascal Wehrlein on Rosenqvist. And the Minardi is into 2nd place as well. Not a good start for Rosenqvist. Estre leads then ahead of Wehrlein, Rosenqvist, Bell, McLaughlin, Magnussen, Hirakawa, Raghunathan, Freins and Latifi in the top 10. Kevin Estre, he has had a lacklustre couple of races at Indianapolis and La Plaza, but he's into the lead this time around. Scott Dixon down in P11 after a difficult qualifying session. So HRTs of Bell and McLaughlin are 4th and 5th. What a start for Kevin Estre. Yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series. Today could well change that. Coming out of the penultimate turn. Estre is into the lead as we see Jose Maria Lopez, who started at the back thanks to a grid penalty. And a little bit wide, but at least he remains in front. And one of the rear wings is gone. And that will be Nina Gaidman, who will be into the pits at the end of this lap for a new rear wing. Antonio Felix da Costa, who finished 2nd last time out at Indianapolis. He's got Louis Foster right behind in the Prema. And Bell has hit trouble in the HRT already. And it looks like he's going to be pulling out of this. And there's been a massive crash. Nicholas Latifi and Robin Freins have collided. Bell was pulling to the side, got onto the apex, and you could just see Latifi and Frines spinning in sympathy. This was similar to what we saw in the League 2 race where El Bamba went off track to avoid Marcus Ericsson, who was on the apex in the corner as he was pulling off. But Frines and Latifi spinning round, and it's going to be long races for them from here. Bell retires with suspension problems. He's the first out of this. Frines and Latifi both rejoin. Latifi, oh my goodness me. Oh, he's wrecked it completely. He's made an absolute hash of that. He's made an absolute hash of that as Nicholas Latifi, and that is him out. That's a terrible, terrible shame. 2 drivers out of this. The fastest up of the race from Felix Rosenqvist in second. And no further action is going to be taken on that incident involving Bell, Frines and Latifi. Jose Maria Lopez is into the pits for Prost with a problem. Has not been a good season for the Argentine. He's really, really struggled. Oh, and we see Van Dorn going off as well. Front wing gone on the Carlin. Amazingly, the car is not terminally ragged. We've seen so many mistakes from these drivers today here in Rockingham. Van Dorn will be the latest ahead for the pit lane. And you can just see Van Dorn rejoining in front. Oh, he's got hit by Robin Frines as well, to add insult to injury. He rejoins, and Frines, I thought that was avoidable, in all honesty. I know Van Dorn was already without his front wing, but yeah, I stand by the fact that it was avoidable from Frines. That was just really, really clumsy. He'll be into the pits at the end of this lap. Van Dorn. It's a 30-second time penalty and the back of the grid job for the next race at Dijon-Bourgogne for Frines. So many drivers into the pits already for repairs at the beginning of this one. No such problems for Kevin Estra. He's ahead of Felix Rosenqvist. Tenths is the margin. It's Verline in third place, followed by McLaughlin, and Magnussen in fifth. There's Ragunathan, Hirakawa, Dixon, O'Ward, and Marcello. See Rafael Marcello in the Force India. Rock bottom of the team's championship going into this round. Could really do an improvement here. And Verline's off the circuit in the Minardi, and he goes for a spin. From third place, Verline loses it. This is coming out of the Chapman curve. Oh yeah, he was already losing it before he even got to the apex. And there he goes, spinning rounds at the very next corner afterwards. And he'll be falling to the back of the pack. And McLaughlin has gone off. Has he picked up a problem, McLaughlin? Well, I can say that Verline has retired. McLaughlin has dropped down to 10th place. I don't know what's happened to him, but he has lost places. Verline is the next to retire from the League One Rockingham Grand Prix. And Marcello is also off the circuit. And he's out of the race. Yeah, I think that must have been a suspension failure on the force in that's forced that to head into the gravel trap. But Marcello is out. McLaughlin goes back into 9th position. He was in 4th for a moment, or maybe 3rd, before he encountered problems of his own. I think he just went off the circuit and rejoined. And Dixon has finished in the top 4 in each race so far this campaign. He's now in 6th place. Ward 7th, DeCosta 8th, McLaughlin 9th, and Foster in 10th. Sean and Fern just outside the points in 11th, with Rowland in 12th for Kramer, followed by the 2 entrances of Jake Dennis and Linus Lundqvist. Alex Blow in 15th for Ram. Oliver Rowland under attack from Jake Dennis. Alex Blow locking up into Gretton, getting away with it. Finds Alex Blow. I think that must be Tina Hausman, because Nina Gamer's already been in the pits for repairs and she's at the back. Igor Fraga gets through on Tina Hausman, who is another one of those making her debut in the Grand Prix World Series today. Hausman is the reigning champion Sebastian Buemi in the Prost. It's not been a good race so far for the Prost team. They were off the pace in qualifying. Both Buemi and Lopez, who had to serve a back of the grid penalty for an incident that was involved in at Indianapolis. So far it's been a race to forget for the French squad. Strutt, 18th clear over Rosenquist. Magnussen in 3rd place for Fontbatello, had a really strong season so far. We'll see Jake Dennis on the inside of the Prema of Oliver Rowland. To no avail, but he's going for it now before turn 2 at the hairpin. Rowland was overtaken before the corner, really. Christie in 2nd place, 8/10 off the lead of Estra. Pulling away from Kevin Magnussen. We're going to have having his best race of the season so far in 4th. Locking up at Gretton, in front of Rockingham. See Rosenquist. Buemi. He's lined up a move on Tina Hausman, and he's got through at last. The champion passing the rookie. Top 2 in your picture, Estra and Rosenquist. There goes Van Dorn. He's on Nina Gateman. And McGunnathan is the next to drop down the order, and that's why he's had a spin. Yeah, just go too much speed, got on the grass, applied the throttle whilst he was on the grass, and he wasn't going to find any grip from that. Another miserable race for BAR. field making their way through. Freins heads through. Rockingham will rejoin the race in 19th position. First and second. Kevin Magnussen's another 5 seconds off this battle. And Dennis, meanwhile, in the Andretti, going for another point score today. Finished in 10th last time out in Indianapolis. He's got Oliver Rowland all over the back of him. Someone knocking up there. I think that might have been the other Kramer of Louis Foster, who's one of those who's yet to score a point this season. And that's Lundqvist off. Lundqvist in the gravel at Tarzan. And it looks like Rockingham is out of the race as well. Lundqvist will head back to the pits for a new nose section. And Rockingham retires with a front suspension failure by the looks of it on the exit of Yentwood. Wait for Freins to go through. Lundqvist gets back on the circuit. Foster is ahead of Antonio DaCosta now for 8th. DaCosta's falling back behind Verne. I wonder if DaCosta's struggling now as well. Yeah, he's dropping down a ton of places here. DaCosta is in deep, deep trouble. Dennis gets through on Verne. We see Stoff Van Dorn running in 19th position, but he'll move up a place as Lundqvist comes in. And DaCosta pulls off the circuit in the Fonmetal, and it's an engine failure for him. That is retirement number 6 of this race. Another one bites the dust here in Rockingham. Estra and Rosenquist still nose to tail around the last corner. There they are. Just under half a second is the margin. Fourth. Lock up. As he keeps his Minardi on the circuit. Behind him is Scott Dixon. Going for his 3rd Grand Prix World Series cycle and his first for Onyx. And a really, really strong campaign so far. Ward's in 6th place for Carlin. He's had a strong one as the Mexican. He's yet to score a point so far, as is Ryo Hirakawa and Louis Foster. And Lundqvist, who's now down in 20th position after his off, is going after Jose Maria Lopez. Nearly running wide in the Prema, but he's looking good for points. The way his race is going, Prema needs some as well. And Foster slowing in the Prema, and he's the next to go from this race. That's a terrible shame on home turf for him. Prema are in real need of some points at the moment. 3 races without scoring coming into this. See Hirakawa through Gracelands. Behind Hirakawa is Dixon, and we've got change for lead. Kevin Estra has been overtaken by Rosenquist. We want to be going to the leaders here. We want to be going to Kevin Estra because he has just lost the lead, and I think that's because of a mechanical problem. It is a mechanical problem. Rosenquist into the lead of the League 1 Rockingham Grand Prix. And I'd imagine Estra will be into the pits at the end of this lap, provided he can get back. He is able to get back, and that's a terrible shame. An electrical problem has forced the Frenchman into the pits. And that was not what he needed. And Bohemi's off the track in the Prost as well. Someone locked up in front of him, and then that must have been Igor Fraga in the Ram. Oh yeah, he just went too deep, did Bohemi. And the front wing has been wrecked. The front left wheel has come off, and the Prost driver is out of the race yet again. Just saw the rock up from Fraga at Gracelands, and it's at Tarzan where Bohemi went so far off the circuit and hitting the wall violently. That's one of the Prost drivers out. The reigning champion retires yet again for the 4th time this season. Kevin Estra rejoins. We watch Lopez and Lundqvist going to combat here. 8 drivers out of the race. Sebastian Bohemi, Louis Foster, Antonio Felix da Costa, Murphy Rigonafon, Rafael Marcello, Pascal Wehrlein, Christopher Bell, and Nicholas Latifi. Kevin Estra rejoined in 12th behind Igor Fraga. See Lopez and Lundqvist catching up to see Nina Gaidman. Well, Ryo Hirakawa is doing his best to keep up. Nevermind, so to 2nd place. Dixon now 4th for Onyx. So hasn't got by Fraga yet, so that Fries has got through on Hausman for 13th, and there goes Alex Palou running wide, spinning around, and that allows Fraga through, but that doesn't allow Estra through. There goes Estra on the inside of Fraga. Palou locks up, and that might have helped his teammate go back in front of the Onyx. It did help Fraga go back in front of Estra. It's a 5-second time penalty for Alex Palou for the unsafe rejoin. That could hurt him later on. We've only got one Fonmatel left in the race. Kevin Magnussen in 2nd. 7 seconds off the lead. Rosenquist he's gone over the line to start another lap. Rosenquist, Magnussen. Another couple of tenths. That particular squabble. There goes. Well, it looks like Kevin Estra was going to go through on Alex Palou at Gretton. Not quite so this time around. Estra sends one up the inside of Palou to turn number 1. And that move was coming. see your race leader, Felix Rosenqvist, already. He already won in Campo Grande. Won in Marquette Park last season. Topher Smith's squad. Ria Hirakawa, who was part of the Carlin squad when they won the team's championship and got their promotion into League One. Now a Minardi driver these days, but has yet to get off the mark this time around. Laps in. Hirakawa third for Minardi. We'll be approaching the first round of stops involving the two stoppers. And we see Jose Manuel Lopez going through on Nina Gaiman, and the other Syntec of Tina Hausman's come to a slowdown. Out of her first race, got as far as lap 18. It's the end of the road for the Swiss driver. Out goes Tina Hausman. Van Dorn going through into 14th place. Lundqvist already got in front of Lopez and Gaidman. And he's now into 15th position. Just see Rosenqvist is coming up to lap the trio, and that might be a good time for him to head for the pits for his first stop. And he is coming in at the end of lap 19. Hirakawa. What's he deciding to do? Well, he is staying out there because Magnussen's coming from second, which will allow the Minardi to go at the head of the pack. Scott Dixon also staying out. Scott McLaughlin in from 5th position. O'Ward coming in. Verne stays out. Rosenqvist does rejoin the race in 3rd. Sean Verne, Force India running in 4th place on circuit, the only Force India left in the race for Ed Spencer, team manager of the squad. Lundqvist coming in from 15th position in the Andretti. He's already been in for repairs. Lopez in as well. And off goes Nina Gaiman in the only sim set left in the race. Back on circuit, keeps hold of 15th position. That won't help her cause in her battle with Lundqvist and Lopez. Look at the Von Metallic Kevin Magnussen. Still going. Past the stricken sister car of Antonio Felix da Costa, who had retired earlier. And Verne's slowing. Verne has just allowed Roland through far too easily there. I'd imagine the Force India will be off into the pits at the end of this lap. Engine problem for Verne. And Force India's race is effectively finished unless Verne can get that back. He is able to get that back. Rosenquist sets a new fastest lap. Verne heads into the pits at the same time as Roland. So at least he stays in the race, does the Frenchman. It's behind Roland. Fall out of the points will Verne. He joins in 12th behind Igor Fraga. Van Dorn into the pits for Carlin. Staying out there. It's probably going to be one of those doing the one stop. Rain in front of Dixon, who we expect to be going on the one stop as well. And we'll see Rosenquist in 3rd place after his stop. Getting on with it and going after the likes of Hoka and Dixon. He's got a few butt markers in the way actually. There is. That's Linus Lundqvist, he'll be looking to that. Will head over the line once more. 2nd place behind the Japanese of Ryo Hirakawa. Stephen McLaughlin, we've not really spoken too much about in this race, thinking of it. He's in 6th place ahead of Kevin Magnussen in the round of stops. And Oliver Rowland in the 2nd Prema pulls out with an engine fire. The problems don't seem to be going anytime soon for Alex Johnston's team. Another one falls from this. That's 10 retirements now from this race, I believe. Not even at half race distance. There are a couple of drivers with time penalties. Friends is one of them. He's got 30 seconds for running into Stoff Van Dorn. And Alex Blow's got 5 seconds for an unsafe rejoin. And one of the Andretti's is going to be pulling out. That is Linus Lundqvist. Been overtaken by Jose Maria Lopez. Yep, he is the next to fall from this race. It's game over. He parks up behind Christopher Bell's HRT. So many drivers we've lost from this race now. I'm counting 11. Jose Maria Lopez in 15th and last place. We'll see Dixon, who's now only 1.5 seconds ahead of Rosenquist. He's still yet to stop. We expect Dixon to go on the 1 stop. Rosenquist, we expect to be on the 2. Rosenquist on the tail of the Onyx. The last corner to start another lap. That was 8 tenths, or just under 8 tenths in sector 2. 6 tenths at the beginning of the lap. Dixon and Rosenquist. Rosenquist will be able to find his way through soon. He may be able to go for it here. It's the Tarson hairpin. Well, he's going for it now, is Rosenquist. But Dixon is able to hold him off. And all this will help Kevin Estre get back into it after his electrical problems that forced him into the pits sooner than planned. The pit straight, Rosenquist heading through on the Onyx. Bracestons they come. Dixon and Rosenquist. Rosenquist won't be as close this time compared to the previous lap. Byrne coming through on Igor Fraga for 10th. Rosenquist hasn't been going as quick on this lap as in the previous ones. I wonder if he may have a bit of a problem. Dixon's in for his only stop. Rosenquist should head on through, unless he's heading in for the pits with a problem. And he is in the pits, so that explains it. Rosenquist had a problem before he had to come in. It may have been the same problem as what Kevin Estre had. This plays into the hands of Ryo Hirakawa even more. Dixon rejoins in 6th place out of Rosenquist. He's just been overtaken by Pato Ward as well. That leaves Rosenquist with more work to do than desired. Did he put enough fuel in there though before... Or did they add any fuels, I should say? Jake Dennis has gone off the track for Andretti but rejoins without any further damage. There is Hirakawa, as we see, Gaiman head for the pits in the Simsec. Along with Phil, I can say that Jake Dennis has got the circuit in the Andretti. He's hit the barrier quite hard as well, but remarkably no damage done again for the Brit. He's lost places. Dennis getting back onto the circuit. Will he be able to do so without damaging the car? He's down in 12th position, losing 3 positions as a result of that off. Robin Freins then, 3rd place. He's got a 30-second time penalty for running into Topher van Dorn earlier on. If the race was to finish as it is now, he would drop to P12. To my calculations. We've still got the second half of the race to go. Astra, after his electrical problems earlier, is back up to second place. And we've got activity over at Minardi. Ryu Hirakawa is in from the lead. Astra will go into the lead. Will Fiennes go into second place on track. Well, I can tell you someone else is off the circuit, and that's one of the Rams. It's Igor Fraga, who's gone off in quite a wild way. Totally self-inflicted, really. Unforced error. He's back on the circuit now. Here's the Brazilian. Rosenquist with another new fastest lap. And it's Kevin Astra who leads ahead of Scott McLaughlin. Kevin Magnussen is third. Followed by Ryu Hirakawa, Scott Dixon, Felix Rosenquist, Hudson Ward, Jean-Luc Verne, Alex Palou, and Robin Fiennes has just rejoined after his sole stop in 10th position. Ian Gaiman has got Ryu Hirakawa behind. Back at the front, Kevin Astra has a 9.6 second lead over Scott McLaughlin. Kevin Magnussen is in third, followed by Ryu Hirakawa, Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenquist. And Rosenquist running too deep into Dean Hairpin. He only just lapped Nina Gaidman. And so far out wide. Avoids the grass. No harm done. Magnussen in P3 for Von Mattel. Hirakawa is doing his best to keep his car on the track. He's got Scott Dixon for company. Astra continuing to lead out in front. There was Stoff Van Dorn. He's doing his best to stay in touch for a point score. And lap 33. Hopefully getting the gap down slightly. It's now 9 seconds between him and Astra. As to who is the favourite to be winning this race, surely has to be Ryu Hirakawa. Having said that, he's just been overtaken by Scott Dixon. And Alex Palou running wide onto the grass in the Ram does very, very well to stay on the track. Rosenquist going through on Hirakawa. Nicely done from the Arrows pilot. He's due in the pits again for another stop is Rosenquist, I believe. And Hirakawa. Oh, it looks like he was struggling with a problem there, but he's dropped back from Rosenquist. That Minardi does not look very competitive like it was earlier, and Rosenquist is heading through on Dixon almost. No way through yet. Robin Frines has dropped down the order, and that explains it. He's been off at Yentwood. Gets even worse for Robin Frines in this race. See Jean Verne through Gretton for the last corner before the line to start another lap. 5 laps to go here in Rockingham, the 5th round of the Grand Prix World Series in Season 5. Kevin Magnussen running in 3rd place, ahead of Scott Dixon. And is Racing Chris through on Dixon at last here? The answer is no. And Magnussen locking up. To the right-hander before Gretton. Not too far away from the 2nd round of stops here, with 2 stoppers making their move. Kevin Estre, we know, is going to be putting in, as is Scott McLaughlin. We expect Scott Dixon to go to the end. McLaughlin 8 seconds off the lead. Back to the front. There's Estre behind Jose Maria Lopez to lap. And there goes Racing Chris again, still stuck behind Dixon. And this is definitely hurting Rosenquist's race. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Scott Dixon, well, came into this round 9 points clear of Scott McLaughlin, followed by Kevin Magnussen and Robin Frines. The way things are going potentially, the stops as they are, Dixon is looking good to extend his championship lead, and Onyx are looking very, very good to extend, or to go back into the lead of the team's championship. In the calendar we've got this season, we've already been to Aruba, Campo Grande, La Plata, Indianapolis, and today here in Rockingham. Next up we go to Dijon-Bourgogne in 2 weeks, followed by Jerez in Spain, Mugello, Italy, Hockenheim, Germany for round 9, which will be the venue for the mid-season test. And it's off to Poznan in Poland, Brno, Czech Republic, Harnu, Estonia, Marrakesh, Morocco, Kyalami, South Africa, New Delhi in India, Fuji, Japan, Sepang, Malaysia, and the final championship round of the season will be in Adelaide, Australia. It's the non-championship Macau Grand Prix to follow, involving the 13 highest scoring teams. Frines has got through on Van Dorn, and Van Dorn is coming to a slowdown in the Carlin, and he retires from the race. Out goes the Belgian. We have only 14 left in the race here. Oh, Magnussen. Oh, we had a twitch of oversteer through Gracelands. Now we're looking at Verne putting a lap on Nina Gaidman. Move up to 14th place. And she'll be hoping there'll be more cars dropping out ahead of her, because there's no way she's going to be catching up to Jose Maria Lopez at this rate. Should just be hoping for more drivers to drop out. 7.2 seconds is the margin between Estre and McLaughlin. It's gradually coming down, but not massively. That's Blow, who's in 9th. It's that 5-second time penalty, but even with that, he will still keep hold of 9th position ahead of his teammate Igor Fraga. Magnussen still in 3rd place for Formitel. He is one of the 2 stoppers. There goes Dixon, who's still in front of Rosenquist. Scott McLaughlin, he was won the last 2 races. Can he become only the 2nd driver in Grand Prix World Series history to win in 3 consecutive rounds? Antonio Felix da Costa did that for Minardi in Season 3. Here's Kevin Estra, still leading ahead of McLaughlin. Rosenquist again on Dixon, still cannot find a way past. And Rosenquist has now dropped back from Dixon a little. Got pit stops happening. First over Formitel, Kevin Magnussen in from 3rd place. Where will he rejoin? We've got Pato Ward also in for Carlin. Likewise for Jean Fern. This player is 9th. Kevin Magnussen rejoins in 7th. Sneaked in front of Pato Ward, but I don't think he'll be there for too long. So he's during the pits for a little bit later. Jake Dennis will rejoin ahead of Alex Below. Scott McLaughlin in from 2nd. Kevin Estra is also in from the lead, which will allow Scott Dixon, one of the 1-stoppers, we expect him to go to the end. Dixon, who hasn't won in the Grand Prix World Series since Buenos Aires last season for Minardi. That was in round 2 as well. So it's been over a season since he last took a win. Hirakawa will go into 2nd place. Kevin Estra will rejoin in 3rd. Scott McLaughlin 4th. Kevin Magnussen will go back into 5th. Chris will rejoin in 6th place. Dixon, followed by Hirakawa. Into Gretton. And McLaughlin pulls off the circuit. I think he's had a problem. Yeah, the engine switched off. And McLaughlin is out of the race. It's not going to be 3 wins on the bounce for him. He'd only just been in the pits. I thought he had a problem, in all honesty, rather than saying it was a crash, but either way, he's gone from this. Both HRTs are out of the race. They are not going to be staying in the lead of the team's championship. Especially with Formitel 12 championship points. Courtesy of Magnussen up there. That's one less threat. It's now going to come down to who's going to win out of this. Will it be Scott Dixon? Will it be Ryo Hirakawa? Or will it be Kevin Estre? Dixon and Hirakawa have tasted victory before. Estre has yet to. Dixon over the line. Gap now between him and Hirakawa is 1.9. Estre over the line, 7.8 seconds off the lead. We'll be thinking he can go for a fastest lap at this rate. And down on the setups that each of the teams have been running today. Prost, HRT and BAR have been running neutral setups. Rosenquist posts a new fast lap. Arrows, Force India, Minardi have using mid downforce. Simsec will have been using neutral as well as Onyx. Fomatel been using a mid downforce setup. Carlin, Kramer and Andretti have been using neutral. Ram mid downforce. It might not be too long before we see a change of fast lap because Kevin Estre will be on fresh tyres. He's coming round. Wasn't quite a new fast lap of the race. But he's certainly getting the gap down with the way he's going about his business here. 15 laps remaining. He has got time to make it back. Rosenquist with another new fast lap of the race. Running in 5th position behind Kevin Magnussen. But yet again, victory has gone away from Rosenquist today and for Arrows. Two Rams inside the top 10. Finds his time penalty will drop him to 11th. .2 seconds from Hirakawa and Estre. Dixon carrying on his way. The Onyx. Now the team's last win was in Season 2 when Sebastian Bourdais won the League 1 Buenos Aires Grand Prix. What a day this will be for Ryan Ferris. He kind of knew he was going to get a victory at some point, it's a matter of when. Ryo Hirakawa will be able to open his points account for Season 5. Move Minardi away from the drop zone, give themselves a good buffer for the remainder of the campaign. It certainly has been far from perfect for Giacomo Pagliaro's team this time around. Dixon is continuing on. Gap between him and Hirakawa is 1.9 seconds. I think Estre might be held up by Jose Maria Lopez, and he is. We see Nina Gaidman, the only Simsec left in the race. Just hoping for bad luck striking those ahead. Rosenquist is only just under 1.5 seconds off Kevin Magnussen in the fight for 4th position, so that battle is far from over. There's a 3-car battle on track between Robin Fries, Pato Ward and Jean-Henri Verne. Estre does get in front of Lopez at last. ways than he perhaps would have liked. Onyx have never celebrated a 1-2 finish in the Grand Prix World Series. They've never celebrated a double podium either. They're on course for it. Which positions will they be? 12 laps to go here in Rockingham. Estra getting the gap down. It's less than 3 seconds between him and Hirakawa. Two and a half seconds now between Hirakawa and Estra. Magnussen and Rosenqvist on nose to tail. I think Rosenqvist will pass Magnussen in a moment. .3 seconds is the margin. Magnussen and Rosenqvist are very much nose to tail. I think Rosenqvist should be able to pass Magnussen very, very shortly. There's not long left in the race. There's still time for things to change before the Grand Prix World Series heads off to Dijon-Bourgogne in France in 2 weeks' time. Fines locking up in front of Otto Ward and Jean-Eric Verne. As it stands, Dixon will be extending his lead in the Drivers' Championship. Scott McLaughlin ain't going to be scoring. Magnussen is going to be scoring. And in fact, Magnussen's just been overtaken by Rosenqvist for 4th. Move was coming. Rosenqvist going through on the inside into turn 1, and now is ready to have the upper hand on the Fonmetal, although Fonmetal is fighting back, and luckily they don't come together. Kevin Magnussen will move up into 2nd place with his 5th place finish here. And Scott Dixon will be 26 points off the lead. Nine laps remaining. Dixon in front by over a couple of seconds. It's Hirakawa and Estra. And Rosenqvist with his 4th place finish potentially. Move him in front of Robin Freins to 4th position. Freins' time penalty was still dropping down. And Alex Blay's time penalty of 5 seconds will drop him behind his teammate Igor Fraga. Both Rams been inside the points in the relegation battle. Well, just before we go about the relegation battle in League 1, Onyx, with 40 championship points coming their way today, will move on to 112. HRT won't be scoring. Fonmetal getting 10 points out of this, and the front wing has gone on Verne's car behind Pato Ward. Not what forcing needed at this point in the race. That's costly. How costly could that be at the end of the season for Ed Spencer's team? Verne will be off into the pits. He'll drop to 11th place. behind Jake Dennis. And Estra's got through on Hirakawa. Estra has overtaken Hirakawa for second place into turn 2, and it was a nicely neat overtake from the Frenchman. 8 laps remaining. Can he go after Scott Dixon and take his first Grand Prix World Series win? Verne comes in for a new nose section, and 8th place is gone. And the gap between Dixon and Estra is back down to 2.1. Verne will rejoin the race in 11th behind Jake Dennis. There's no way he's going to catch him in 8 laps. Gap over the line between Dixon and Estra is 2 seconds. It's an Onyx 1 and 2 as we speak. The relegation battle. BAR won't be scoring today, neither will Prost as it stands. Kramer won't be scoring. Syntec won't be scoring, and Force India won't be scoring, so it's just as it is. The lowest team to be scoring points are Carlin in 8th. Ward getting 6 championship points for finishing where he is, potentially. In fact, it'll be 8 because Fines has that time penalty. So Verne will still get a point out of this, even though, as I say that, Alex Below has dropped down the order behind Jake Dennis. I want to know why, because Below was in front of Dennis, but now he's fallen back from him. As it stands, that time penalty will drop Below out of the points. That will promote Verne up there, and with Fines' time penalty, Verne will get into 9th position. So all is not lost for Verne. Force India will still get points out of this, which will draw them level with Kramer and Simtek in the relegation zone. Just got the gap down. It's just 1 second between him and Dixon. They need to be careful. They don't take each other out here, do the 2 Simtex. They cannot afford to be making silly mistakes at this stage in the season when they're doing so well. Verne is now only 3.2 off Alex Below. Gap over the line. 7 tenths between Dixon and Estra. Is Dixon going to take his 9th Grand Prix World Series win? Or will it be a new driver standing on the top step of Kevin Estra? 5 laps remaining here in Rockingham. Half a second is the margin in Sector 1. It's now 3 tenths in Sector 2. I think Estra has got Dixon in his pocket here. Fines, meanwhile, will not be finishing in 6th place. He'll fall out of the points. Right on board with Estra. Behind Dixon. Will he go for it into turn 2? He won't do it into turn 1. He's too far back this time around. He should be able to send one up the inside here. There goes Kevin Estra on his teammate Scott Dixon for the lead. Up the inside goes Estra, and he is into the lead of the League 1 Rockingham Grand Prix. A brilliant strategy has paid off for him. It is going to be an Onyx 1-2, but this time it is Kevin Estra is going to take his first win in this championship. On lap 56, he's finally through. Alex Palou has got through on Shonick Vern. Or Vern is closing on Palou by the looks of it. Thought the position swapped for a moment there, but no, Vern is closing in on Palou for position. But Estra is through into the lead at last. Spirited Joy, despite that electrical problem he had earlier that forced him to come in. He's found his way back through the field nicely. He's looking very, very, very good. Rita Hirakawa looking good to open his points account with a podium finish for Minardi. Estra pulling away from Dixon since he got that overtake done. And here we see a battle between Palou and Vern. And Vern will head through here, no problem. Into the points goes Vern. He's got around about 9 to 10 seconds to make up on Jake Dennis in 3 laps, which he won't do. There's no way he'll do that. And the penultimate lap for the leaders. Dixon just needs to make sure he brings his Onyx home. Here goes Robin Fries to lap Nina Gaiman, and Dixon has run wide. That's a scare, and that's an opportunity for him to calm down from here. So Jean-Luc Verne is on course for 2 championship points with Fries' penalty. That'll drop him back. If he can get by Jake Dennis, he'll go back into 8th place. Between Dixon and Hirakawa is now 1.7 seconds. Estra starts the last lap of the race. What a race it's been as well. Dixon has driven beautifully again today. It will be a 3rd podium in a row, but still no race win yet this season. But Kevin Estra today has absolutely deserved it. No question. On the front row of the grid next to Felix Rosenquist, got into the lead, had that problem which forced him to come in. But has made the strategy work and come back through nice and sound. And a day where Onyx are going to celebrate their first in the Grand Prix World Series, a 1-2 finish, which is a rarity for any team to accomplish. For Ryan Ferris, it's a long time coming for a race win, the last coming in the hands of Sebastian Bourdais in Buenos Aires in Season 2. The drought is about to finally end. Kevin Estra wins the League 1 Rockingham Grand Prix. It's Onyx's first win of the season. It's Kevin Estra's first win in the Grand Prix World Series. And it's Onyx's first victory in this championship for a long time. You have to go all the way back to Season 2 to see Ryan Ferris coming away with the race-winning trophy. Scott Dixon second to round off the team's first ever 1-2. Rita Hirakawa gets off the mark for the campaign. A podium position for him and for Minardi. Felix Rosenquist missing out on victory again in 4th place, ahead of Kevin Magnussen. Robin Fries' time penalty drops him back. So it's Pato Ward in 6th place. Igor Fraga getting some good points for him and for Ram in 7th position. Jake Dennis, 8th place for him. And it's Jean-Luc Verne who'll get 2 more championship points for Force India. Alex Palou, the last driver on the lead lap. It's the first win of the Grand Prix Series for Kevin Estra. He comes out on top in the League 1 Rockingham Grand Prix. Scott Dixon second, running up the team's first ever 1-2. Rita Hirakawa 3rd. Felix Rosenquist in 4th. And it's Kevin Magnussen, Pato Ward, Igor Fraga, Jake Dennis, Jean-Luc Verne recovering to 9th. And Alex Palou, even with the time penalty, coming home in 10th place. Robin Frines, with his 30-second time penalty, dropping him down to P11. Jose Maria Lopez in 12th for Prost, and Nina Gaiman, the last driver to finish in 13th for Simtek. Scott McLaughlin, Stoffel Van Don, Linus Lundqvist, Oliver Rowland, Tina Hausman out in her first race, Sebastian Bramy out for the 4th time this season after a crash, Louis Foster as well in the Prema with gearbox problems. He's still yet to score a point so far this season. Antonio Fitz da Costa, Mattia Ragunathan, Rafael Marciello, Pascal Verline, Christopher Bell, and Nicholas Latifi with the rest to not finish. Felix Rosenqvist came away with the points for both pole position and fast lap, but victory had gone begging for him. Scott Dixon's 3rd podium in a row and another top 4 finish for him sees him extend his championship lead. Kevin Estra's win moves him on to 37 points, which moves him, I think, into the top 5 in the championship, if my maths are correct. I'll let Topher Smith run down on that in a moment. But it's a brilliant day for Onyx and for Ryan Ferris. They've got a very healthy lead in the team's championship. They move back ahead of HRT and Von Mattel. They're looking so strong, aren't they? Really strong. It's time to run down on the League 1 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And I'll see you for the next round in Dijon-Bourgogne in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
So, a first-time winner in the form of Kevin Estra here in the League 1 race today. A huge congratulations to him and to the Onyx team with Ryan Ferris. That's Onyx's first Grand Prix win for quite a long time. It's been coming so far this season, and Kevin Estra is the one to get the team back onto top step. So massive congratulations to him, and a 1-2 finish for the team as well. A big day for Ryan Ferris. But what has this done to the drivers and team standings? Well, Scott Dixon continues his incredible start to the season, consistently a front runner, still yet to win a race this season, but he has always been there or thereabouts, and he now enjoys a 19-point advantage over Kevin Magnussen in the standings. Scott McLaughlin didn't get his 3rd win in a row today, but he is 3rd in the standings on 51 points. Felix Rosenqvist 4th on 46 ahead of Kevin Estra, who elevates himself up into 5th courtesy of his victory today. Robin Frines down to 6th ahead of Christopher Bell, who is on 30 points. Antonio Felix da Costa for now remains our only hat-trick hero and is 8th in the standings on 28, ahead of Alex Palou on 20 and Jake Dennis on 17. And in the team standings with Onyx's 1-2 today, they shoot straight up into the lead of the team's championship. 115 points for Ryan Ferris and the team, with Ewan Gale's Von Mattel team 2nd on 87, 6 ahead of HRT on 81. They lose a championship lead and drop down to 3rd. Arrow's 1 point behind them on 80. Ram with a point score today up to 32 points in 5th. Minardi gets another podium this season, a much-needed podium for Giacomo Pagliaro and the team, and they are 6th on 31 points. Andretti on 27 ahead of Carlin on 20. BAR and Prost still on 9 points each, while Prema, Simtek and Force India all have 8 points each in the relegation zone. Plenty of opportunities left for them to pick up some points, and I'm sure that battle to avoid relegation is only going to get fiercer as the season goes on. Well, what an absolutely fantastic day we have had here in Rockingham. So much drama, so much action, and at the end of it, we got 2 incredible races. It's a shaking of the championship order, and we will see what the next races have in store for us. Until the next race, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you joining us here in the Grand Prix World Series, and we can't wait to bring you the next race at Dijon-Bourgogne in France. Until then, I am Topher Smith. Take care.